Howdy howdy peoples, what is going on? I am the Jimatron, and a happy new year to people viewing at home. Doing something extremely different from what I would normally do. I've never done a visual novel before. I'm pretty sure I can read, which I'll find out soon, but this is called Trick and Treat. I just seen it on Steam, it was free, so fuck it, let's give it a shot. The sound of our steps combined with that of the occasional nocturnal animal is the only thing we can hear. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or light from the moon. Our flashlights are the only things that light up our way. At times like this, one begs not to run out of battery. Pretty much every fucking game we play with a flashlight. We walk without knowing what we are really looking for, or better said, for no reason. We're just a group of boys bored with our lives, and that's why we play games like these. Trying to create a lasting memory on this night, instead of staying home doing nothing. Wow, this game is just mocking me. Today is October 31st, All Hallows Eve, or better known as Halloween. 3 young men walk through the dark, but up until now, nothing special forest, me being one of them. We're doing it to prove our courage. It's too bad there isn't a girl here to see how brave we are. Seeing it like that, one could say this is meaningless. This is a meaningless effort. Fuck, I can't read. For a moment I stopped to look at my watch. It's 1:49 AM. This means we have been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. I'm sure many people will find a place like this terrifying. But once you get used to it, the fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is that we cannot know what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. But this is clearly an empty darkness. At that moment, I sigh, feeling how tired my legs are. What is the point of being here? Clearly, we had already demonstrated what we wanted. It would be best to return. I should tell them. As I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere and the fuck. Don't quit my day job. Go back to the farm, Jimatron. Okay. I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest becomes strange. Suddenly, a cold chill runs through my body. Fuck. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not good. It was like any other chill, except it was not going away. For no reason, the air's temperature dropped from one second to the other. So much so, my breath becomes visible, turning into mist. It doesn't end there. The air is now filled with a rotten smell, just like a little short from being unbearable. Images of worms and flies soon appear in my head, giving me a really unpleasant feeling. We'll stop at that moment. What's happening? I asked, confused, while looking at my friends. By the expression on their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. My English good is. It was then when we heard footsteps nearby that did not come from any of us. We all got dead quiet after that. Shit breaks, y'all. I don't know if it was out of fear to check if it was not a mistake, but we stayed motionless, like statues, without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What was happening? Really, they named him Friend? As if I could know. We heard the steps again. They clearly belonged to a human, or at least to a large animal, but there is something strange about them. It sounds as if the person walked dragging one foot. Just thinking about it made me shiver. Damn, why is this happening? It makes no sense. We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. I have the feeling that we're being stalked by someone. Strange footsteps stopped, but I'm still feeling a presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but I know that if it's looking at me, it's looking at me. That cursed thing is looking at me. My heart is beating anxiously. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friends seemed unable to perceive it. It seems that it's gone. It must have just been an animal, said one of them, convinced that if we were safe, I would have liked to have believed that too. We had a sigh of relief, however, bad luck would soon strike us again. Unexpectedly, the forest becomes darker than before in just the blink of an eye. But it wasn't the fault of the forest, but of our flashlights, which went out. Out of the three, only one, mine, was still working. What's going on? Did the batteries die? Asked one of them, scared, while they both beat them desperately as if that was going to revive them. I can't blame them. The idea of walking in the darkness was not pleasant for anyone. But after a few moments, we had no choice but to resign ourselves to that. Once more the sounds of our footsteps is heard. But the silence is different now. We are not quiet because we have nothing to say, but because we are afraid. We continue walking despite the fear that evades us. Visibility is almost zero, but we have no choice. In theory, we are walking back, looking for the exit, but cannot remember anything in this forest. We could be walking in circles, and I would never notice it until it's too late. I hate the thought of it. I just wanted to get out of it. Suddenly my thoughts are silenced. We hear the footsteps of someone, or something. Once more the three of us become statues awaiting the presence to go. I hold my breath while feeling my heart beating anxiously. Damn, we have to get from here. Just leave us. Oh, fuck. I'm probably the worst person of voices. Just saying. Damn, we have to get away from here. Where the fuck am I getting we from? There's no we there. Damn, get away from here and leave us alone. Unexpectedly, the steps are heard closer. This time they do not disappear, but rather come at us. I can't stand it. Desperately, I move my flashlight everywhere looking for the author of those footsteps, hoping for the light to reveal their identity and ease our fears. Nothing. 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 Is that all there is around here? Just empty air? My anxiety grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was just a ghost. It's not just that, Jimmy. What the fuck are you reading? I must be reading something different, because these words don't match the ones that are coming out of my mouth. Suddenly, when I move the flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I could not I'm gonna have to get a drink or something. I could not
Distinguish.
Alright. I could not distinguish what it was, but for a moment the light revealed something. Quickly I pointed to the same place, only to discover that it was gone. I hold my breath anxiously. It was not an illusion. I'm sure I saw something. It was then I hear something nearby. Without even thinking, I aim the light towards that place. What I found leaves us paralyzed with the expression of disbelief on our faces. It is a white cat with eyes of intense red which stands before us. Her look is not of the friendliest, to say something. Somehow I get the feeling it's a female cat. Suddenly she lets out a thunderous meow that leaves us terrified. Yeah, that's my thunderous meow. It sounded more like a lion roaring than a simple cat. The echo of her meow was heard throughout the forest, making it sound more sinister than it should be. It was then that suddenly an inexplicable force hits us three. I fall to the ground, and little by little my eyelids close. The fatigue becomes unbearable. I lose consciousness on the ground of the forest without knowing what was going to happen with me. It was a day like no other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it was that it's October 31st. Far were the memories of when I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nostalgic. Some things were better when I was a child, or at least seems like that. There were some who had good costumes, whether of superheroes or monsters. My friends and I, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted red my face and told me, "You will be the devil." It only seems that she saw it that way. We went out from home to home, everyone said I was the tomato man. It's like me in the sun for 20 minutes. But those things didn't matter to me, since we always had a good time. If I asked for candy now, even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would give me anything. Except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I am 17 years old. But anyway, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how little exciting that may be. Dot, 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 dot. Back to reality. We're a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We're still not old enough to go to a disco. And I doubt guys as us would have any luck in that environment. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls and have fun. Everything's perfect, except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Hey Axel, let's have a couple matches, what do you say? My friend Stephen called my attention. Oh, it's called Stephen. Well, called my attention while playing the kind of game console. What sort of game console? Xbox. Rushed. Rushford? Rushford? The fuck is that word? Rushford. I'm just going to call it Rara. I believe that's what the name of the game is called. A fast, quite complicated fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with him, but for some reason I didn't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now, I replied with disencouragement. I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring. The AI is no rival for me, Stephen said with confidence. That you're playing on normal difficulty does not help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge to Alfred. If you want, you can challenge to Alfred. Get rid of the 2, you don't need the 2 there. I said, lending the attention to my other friend. I don't know how to play that either, answered Alfred, doubting for a second. He's sitting behind the PC, but it seems he isn't doing anything interesting. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he's in Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with disencouragement, without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looks at me surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He's one of those pseudo-intellectuals, always looking for any rare information to appear smarter than others. When we forget our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them, he added later. What are you talking about? This village is small, and its story is not interesting at all. Nothing outside of the normal has ever happened in it. Alfred laughed mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact it's a small town is the reason it's full of mysteries. Do you know that 20 years ago, on this date, a man disappeared? So, what about it? I asked without being impressed or even interested in the least. I said slightest, but things like that happen all the time in all places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place, Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in an arrogant gesture. There is a legend behind the disappearance. That is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. So as then I noticed it's not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little, Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. What was on the screen? Both Stephen and I moved closer to read it. Just if you didn't read all that, go back and pause it. Matthew Graham, 23 years, single. Oh, sorry, if you missed that, go back, pause it. Interesting story. Didn't know such a story was hiding in this town. I said, honestly surprised. Even if it is a lie, it managed to hold my interest. Wait, there's something more, Alfred said at the same time he scrolls to the comments. We weed. We're gonna weed it all. Just like I'm trying to weed at the moment. So I'm just a little bit tired at the moment, so we read what is written there. A couple comments called our attention. Both of them talk about some creature. At that time they felt a horrible fear of what could happen to them. Well, the two comments share great similarities, but they could have been written by the same person. There are many others that deny it. Looks like many people went to the forest because of the legend, but couldn't find anything. ... I thought you're only reading these things to look more cool before the girls. How the fuck would that make it look cool? Replied Stephen as a joke. Alfred giggles with a little shame. Partly, yes. He admitted it. There was a secret everybody silently knew. Well, well. Now we have an activity for tonight, Stephen said at the same time as he makes a face overflowing with enthusiasm. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple. Let's go to that forest, Stephen replied without hesitation. He seemed really fascinated by the story. Are you insane? Said Alfred, unable to believe what he just heard. You only needed to look at his face to know he did not like that idea. Despite everything you've heard, you want to go? Of course. It would be a test of courage among us three, replied Stephen, full of confidence, perhaps too much. He should relax a bit. Don't tell me you're afraid. No. Why should I be afraid? Answered Alfred. At the same time, he folds his arms, making a false gesture of security. It's more than obvious that you're afraid, Alfred. Almost as much as when you had to talk with a girl. Ooh. And what about you, Axel? Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly Stephen asked me, at the same time looking at me mockingly. Don't tell me you want to be the chicken of the group. I hate that tone of voice he used. I will never give you that, I said without thinking, showing a confident smile and look. Well, let's not say more. Take your coats, backpacks, flashlights, and some food. We're going to the forest, Stephen said, full of energy. Oh, could have said that first, that way I could have made it sound a little bit better. Yeah, all three of us said in unison as if we're going to have some kind of a private party. Yay! Sorry. Not really knowing of what we were doing or what we were going to find. $2:30. I awake completely confused, not knowing how much time had passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Unfortunately, the pain goes away quickly, just as my confusion. Soon I came back to my senses. My flashlight is laying on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately pick it up, which is my only protection against the darkness that surrounds me. Then I remember that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen? Alfred? Can you hear me? Without thinking, I scream their names in the dark while trying to find them with my flashlight, but there's no trace of them. They are gone. Where the hell are they? What the heck just happened? I don't really understand anything. Shit. Oh, I said a naughty word! We should have stayed home. This is not a proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. Keep going for a little bit. Little time has passed since I started to look for my friends, and I already cannot stay in this place. I'm going crazy in this forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. It is a darkness that steals your own sanity, replacing it with anxiety. To make it worse, the air is damp, cold as in winter, carrying a strong rot smell, as if there were corpses of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place is oppressive, and every step you take makes you more uncomfortable. Since I started to look at my friends, I felt that something is watching me, but there is nothing. I sigh with my voice full of frustration. I just want to get out of here. I continue walking, devoid of any hope. No matter where I look, or how much I walk, I find nothing. I can't even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems they are already dead and rotting. No. I have to calm myself, I said to myself. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathe deeply, and the rotten air of this place does me no good. Immediately I start to cough as if something was stuck in my throat. Just like me at the moment. My bad. Shit. What am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. And even if by a miracle I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. I'm really screwed up. Again I sigh, feeling the verge of tears. My frustration is building up. I have to do my best to keep calm. If I fall into despair, there is no doubt I will be joining the list of missing persons. In the end, I decide to keep walking, step by step. I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good. Even if it was only to deceive myself, feeling that I am doing something, I wanted to continue walking. Time passes without any changes. Only the sound of my footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you'll be surrounded by a dead silence is a good incentive to keep walking. But my legs were already hurting. Suddenly, I hear a crack at my feet. Instantly, I take a step back and look below to see what made that sound. What is this? I whispered to my own. If I knew it was a whisper, I wouldn't have gone, what is this? I would have gone, what is this? I whispered to myself, surprised, discovering that I'd stepped on an animal bone. I believe that it's from an animal, although I do not rule out the possibility that it belongs to a human. But for my own good, I prefer not to think about that. An expression of anguish is drawn on my face. It is best to ignore it. I have to keep walking. Suddenly, my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point towards there again. Dot, 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 dot. Only to realize the surprise is the white cat. The one from before which made an awful meow, but this time I find it laying on the ground. It appears to be fainted and is wounded. Then what should I do? I'm going to stop the video here, guys. If anyone actually does watch this, leave a comment in the comments section. What should I do? Should I ignore the cat, which meows? Or do I pick her up? Let us know. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I do not know if I'll continue this on. Just seeing how things go. I'll probably record some more at another time. But until then, hope you all have a good one. Cheers, guys.